They break the fourth wall in both of those so far.
Break the third wall.
Third?
It's
I was going
fourth.
to say, I thought it was the fourth! What's up, Scrub Hub?
Man, they're gonna hear the because I was counting. I was just kind of
Yeah.
into it.
We're both musicians. We know how to
Yeah.
count to a metronome.
Miles Prowler, buddy.
Oh, let's
That's
go,
the
baby.
socks. I am Doc
Tails.
Bishop. What is up? RX _ Bishop _ MD.
NevrEndingPants. Lose that second E in the never. Doc, how are we doing, baby?
Dude, I'm doing okay.
How was your week?
My week was fine. It's pretty crazy. Not a lot happening. When are they seeing this episode? I'm probably playing Horizon Forbidden West right now.
Yep.
and I'm gonna say it's amazing.
I can't necessarily share too much with the Scrub Buds what game I'm gonna be playing because wink wink, it might just be coming out next week.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, yep. So
We've had a couple things happen and whatever. I'm sure people have noticed whatever.
yeah,
You broke your mic stand.
Yep. I'm still
Still not fixed.
I'm the mic stand. Funny thing is my dad's name is Mike. Anyway, Doc, what game are we talking about this week, boss?
All right, guys. This is another Daniel Mullins games, right? Daniel?
That's right.
Pony Island, which was their first game, their first game. Whoever was, whatever. We recently, it's been a few weeks now-ish, played Inscryption, which was the latest one.
That's right.
So Pony Island was the first one. Inscryption was the last one. There's one in the middle there somewhere, the Hex, which I guess we're going to play soon.
That's right. We have
Soonish.
to.
Within the next month or so.
That's right. I mean, generally speaking, just to give my initial overview of the game.
Yeah,
Just like a.
We
yay
had two wildly different experiences.
We did. So just like an initial yay or nay kind of deal after playing Inscryption. Awesome game. It was,
Pony Island was super fun.
cool, very fun.
It's not expensive.
No, it's not.
It's very cheap.
I think it offers a lot in a game for the amount of time that you put into it and for what you pay for it. And it's also a pretty awesome precursor if you haven't already played some of Daniel Mullins' other games, like Doc said, the Hex or Inscryption. It definitely feels like a pretty awesome precursor to the other projects that they've worked on so far.
Oh yeah, there's definitely huge we played Inscryption first and playing Pony Island second. You can see massive amounts of this game that are directly in Inscryption.
Oh yeah.
I mean, from kind of like the storytelling aspect, being in a game.
It's very meta.
It's very, very meta from just some crazy weird things. So obviously going forward, as we continue to talk about this game, this may not be a super long episode. This may be pretty short. It's a short game. There's not a ton to talk about.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of our things, but obviously spoilers.
Of course.
So if you haven't played the game and you want to, stop listening to us right now. All right. I think that works. They stopped listening.
That's right. Yeah, you guys have had your spoiler warning. Now, like other Daniel Mullins games, like we just said, it's pretty meta. You can anticipate at this point, we've played this a second of their games.
Mm-hmm.
They break the fourth wall in both of those so far.
Break the third wall.
Third?
It's
I was going to
fourth.
say, I thought it was the fourth! Okay, they break the fourth wall quite often. It's kind of a theme for them, and like you said, it's pretty intertwined with their storytelling. And I wanna tip my hat to them because I feel like a lot of times with story writers and people kind of generating or creating some kind of experience for people to enjoy, you can mess up or leave big plot holes when messing with the time stuff or like breaking fourth wall kind of thing. You can oftentimes leave a lot of room for speculation. Well, I thought this was probably it or this. All of their games so far, all two that we've played, seem to be wrapped up and sealed pretty nicely. There, I think, sometimes are left to the creative mind to come up with the rest of the story. But
yeah, there's some interpretation, I think, definitely, especially in this game, versus Inscryption. Inscryption seemed pretty straightforward, but you walked away with enough of it that you're like, what if it was this way? What if it was actually this? And this does the exact same thing Pony Island does. I want to say, like, kudos to being able to deliver a game that is not only fun, super basic, like it feels very like Mario on the NES, easy, basic game, but still implementing bits of story and bits of puzzles and things like that that keep you on your toes. And even like when the characters are like talking, like stuff is still happening and you can completely just skip over it.
Oh yeah, there's parts of the game where you just like feel like you really need to pay attention to it, but like you said, it's so simple that there were certain points in the game where I felt like maybe it was originally intended to be a mobile game, like because I could see it along the same lines. It could easily be
a mobile game, yeah.
Yeah, mechanically, it's almost like in certain points like Flappy Bird.
I thought that exact same thing.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if you went into it like, I've read an interview. He was talking to someone, and I don't think he said anything about mobile games, but I wouldn't be surprised if his thought process was like, oh, I could do a mobile game.
And then it
turned into this, yeah.
Right, exactly. Because I can see that a lot with the mechanics of this, especially like we said, it's his first one. Developing any kind of game is probably difficult, but mobile games probably have an easier accessibility to them because of the mechanics being so limited. Again, like Flappy Bird, Temple Run, it's like click left, click right, jump, this, that, and third.
I've never made a game, so I don't know.
Right, exactly. But this game, it just has so much. It's so simple, but has so much on the back end with story, and it gets very creative with some of the puzzles in it that keep you engaged. While you could probably run this thing on a freaking Windows 2000 computer.
Oh, I'm
you know
sure.
What I mean? It takes almost nothing.
It's pretty simple.
Outside of a couple scenes, but even the scenes are like,
yeah, most of it's all in like 8-bit, 16-bit style. So as far as the story goes, basically you are playing a character playing an arcade game which has Pony Island on it.
Right.
You initially play Pony Island. Cool. It's literally your pony. It's jumping over gates and you're getting to a flag at the end of the level. Like that's basically Pony Island in a nutshell the entire time. And then there are other things happen, like you eventually get met with a couple characters. One thing we should say, the game, like you go to start the game and the game doesn't start. So you go into like the options menu and there are all kinds of weird options. Like some were like advanced options, advanced RNG, all this different things. And eventually you find this like thing you can click on.
It says fix. It's the one that says fix menu, right?
Yeah, fix start menu, and it sends you to like this like puzzle, which is also like game code. And so you have this thing like ticking down, and your goal is to move these blocks into certain spots. It progressively gets harder and harder, but it's very easy at the beginning. Yeah. And you're essentially like learning like this happens, then boom, game's fixed, and then you can actually go into the start menu.
Yeah, it's like I interesting enough, it's always interesting. I mentioned this. Like I streamed this game this time. You did not.
I did not know.
So one of my viewers actually, when I got into this puzzle realm of the game, was like, "This is literally just what coding is like," because it's almost like you're following an order of operations. Like it's feeding into a chain, like beep, 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 and then you're changing. Like you said, you're filling in these little blocks and tiles to like change the direction. So sometimes
like you're changing a piece of code to direct it to something else.
Exactly, direct. So you're almost you're channeling and chaining a directory properly so you can progress and further actually hack the game.
Yeah,
and that's what
you're doing.
What
happens. Yep.
So you're getting into the coding of the game, and you're hacking it. In some ways, initially, it's to fix it because you're fixing the start menu, and then after that. Before you even like start playing the game, you're met with a character that's like, oh, if you fixed it, if you had given it time, it would have
because
fixed
the loading
itself.
bar is going super slow.
Yeah,
I wonder if you sat there if the loading bar would start up.
I wonder. I didn't sit through it, but
there's some things like you could just sit and wait on, just to see what happens.
Yeah,
and sometimes it doesn't matter, and sometimes it does.
Right, and I think without giving too many specific instances of this, this is just like the first one of, like I said, like that meta where this thing or this antagonist or character of some sort is talking to you as the player about the game while you're digesting the game itself.
It's safe to say it's the creator of the game.
Right. You can definitely say it's probably the creator, because he's like, well, it was going to work if you just let it do its thing. That happens quite frequently throughout the game, and some maybe more dire situations than fixing a start menu.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you can definitely anticipate more little pieces of dialogue.
I love that we're like, here's a spoiler warning, and we're like,
right, like
staying
bouncing
around stuff.
like,
I mean, like, it's such a short game. I really don't want to spoil it. We spoiled the crap out of Inscryption. I still feel bad about it.
yeah,
man.
So I mean, not to go too deep on this, I think there's a way for us, because there's going to be things we have to discuss, like the end of the game or things like that.
We will definitely talk about the end.
So give a spoiler, but we, I think, do a pretty good job of maybe not like cutting up the game so finely that we're giving you every last detail, so you can enjoy this podcast and enjoy maybe our reaction or our review to it without.
You can always watch us play it.
Exactly.
Well, not me. I didn't record it or stream it.
Right, but of course you can watch these podcasts or listen to them and still be able to enjoy our experiences from it without, like I said, getting every cut piece of it. It's all dried out. You can digest it all individually. We're just giving you a general rundown.
So you're met with this character that seemingly created the game, and then he freaks out because, oh, you fixed it. It would have ran, whatever. And then you go into another part of the game, and like he's like teaching you the game. It's like, this is what you do, this is what you do. And then you get to a part where you just can't beat it. It's just not possible. And he's like, oh yeah, this is kind of hard, isn't it? He's like, but my game's fair. And you go searching for options, and you're met with another character. You're met with a thing that allows you to.
You find a portal.
You find a portal that allows you to crash the game first.
Yeah.
And then, that ultimately leads you to another character.
That goes to the desktop mode.
That goes to the desktop because you rebooted it.
Yeah, so you basically crash the game. You go back to the desktop of the arcade machine that you're at, and you see like a messenger app, and you can open that up, and that's when you start communicating with Hopeless Soul.
Hopeless Soul. And Hopeless Soul is like your guide through the game.
Right.
Explaining like, hey, I'm trapped, you're trapped. And is like, hey, there's core functions in this game, in this Pony Island, that need to be shut down. And that's your goal, is to find these core functions and delete them.
Right. And so it's funny because like while you're playing this game, when you meet him, Hopeless Soul, he's like, that other person is not good. Like you need to stop talking to them.
He's pure evil.
Yeah. And as you're talking with Hopeless Soul, this other like IM box pops up, which, by the way, like when you're talking with Hopeless Soul, it's like an IM box that pops up and you can type in it.
Old school.
Yeah, it's like OG
92.
stuff.
The game was made in 92.
Right. So it's like really old school looking stuff. And then this other IM box pops up and it's like crazy symbols in the name. And it's like, hello. And it's like, oh no, like who just IM me? And then the guy's like, wait, who is that? Who just IM'd you? Don't reply. And you start replying to it because you're like, you can't really progress with the story unless you do. So drama ensues, and it ends up taking over your like hacks at your PC, and he's like replying for you. He signs out of the other IM. He's like, yes, master. Like he asked you if you want to play Pony Island. He replies for you. He's like, yes, master.
Dude, did you respond to the yes, master thing? He's like, say yes, master. And I was like,
so you start.
Like, no. I hit no, and I hit enter to say no, and it changed it to yes, master.
Yes.
I was like, oh, that's so funny.
No.
It was so good.
Yeah, it was super, super good. So
there were instances of like not wanting to move your mouse towards something, and it's constantly moving your mouse. Like you can try to fight with it and struggle.
Yeah. Super,
just
super
cool little things that, taking back to what Inscryption did, just had that cool little meta, kind of break the fourth wall type of a situation where you felt like not only are you playing a game, but you felt like you're actually invested in fighting with something in the game.
Right. And I think this is an interesting point to touch on, like, with Inscryption. We talked about this a little bit pre-show. In Inscryption, playing through that first, after we got through it, it kind of felt like we didn't have a true antagonist, really, I guess. So by the end of it, you're like, oh, wait a minute. Like, I didn't want to, I feel so bad that I felt like you guys were my enemies and really were just playing a game.
Yeah.
In this, it's like, and you wanted to delve more into it because of that afterward. And in this game, it's like you feel like you have a definitive protagonist. You need to protect yourself, and with being so meta and feeling so like invested in the game, like you're a part of it, you feel, I think, driven in a different sense, but a similar strength to be like, oh wait, I'm in this game. I'm going to like really beat it.
What's super funny is like, so the game plays a lot on taking your soul. I mean, long story short, the game is essentially like Limbo, right?
Right.
And so you're bound to this game. You find out later there are several you find out there's several souls that are also lost in this game. And I think back to Inscryption, right? We had PO3 that's like, I'm going to get this game out there and tons of people are going to play this game. And I'm like, man, it did get out there. Tons of people do play that game. And then I think like this is a puzzle game. So there are actually people playing the game right now, playing Pony Island or have played Pony Island, that are stuck potentially. Like they are stuck in the game.
Oh yeah, it's like a weird kind of real life meta where it's like you're kind of sold to the game. You're kind of bound to the game right now.
And so,
in a weird way.
So you've come across really kind of funny instances where the game is like, give your soul to gain more experience, or give your soul to play with graphics, or give your soul to do this. And I'm like,
oh yeah, it's like continue, insert your soul below.
Yeah,
like,
and so we're like, no, I'm not going to do that. But then at the same time, the game does such a good job of just keeping you sucked into it.
Oh yeah,
like
so
it just keeps you just locked into the game. At one point, the creator of the game, I think it's really cool, just not say who that is. Says, take a break. Go ahead, take a break.
And you just
and you're just like, don't. You just keep going. He's like, are you sure? And it's like, that's the moment when I realized, I'm like, dude, our soul is stuck here.
Yeah, who's the real?
So
who's the joke on really?
So it's just a really, really cool fourth wall breaking meta gaming way to tell a story, progress a plot line, introduce. There's some cool characters that are just in it that are just a lot of fun. Make the game funny. I think Hopeless Soul at one point shows up. I think it's during the second core, right? So you delete the first core and then you go after the second core file. And someone's like, the creator's like, don't delete that. You won't be able to play. And Hopeless Soul's like, but you need to delete that to progress the plot.
Oh yeah,
it's like
so yeah, it's just further encompassing this whole like, well, we're playing a game. We have to do this to progress the story. I love it so much.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's just really good. And that's kind of like the gist of the game. There's other things. Like I said, you're in like limbo, and so you're playing a character playing this game whose soul is trapped. And there are instances where you can find out who you are. You know, like who you are, where were you born, how did you die, where did you live. There are these questions that you can find to progress in the game that answers like a whole entirely overarching story that isn't too in depth, but it's something I experienced and something you didn't.
That's right. I think that there was, after you talked to me a little bit about it, there was like small bits.
I think there were moments where you're like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, there was like small bits where I was like the Cave of Truths, I think. I think I like saw it, but I didn't like go too far into it. But then there were, like you said, there was other moments where I was like, I have no idea what that is, dude. Yeah. So I mean, do you want to go into that? Like,
I mean, it's such a short game. I don't want to just like lay out this game because I feel like you can only do so many things before you've told everyone the game, right? Like I don't want to just say this. Like I want to talk about the third core for sure, but then at the same time, it's like boom, telling you it's like oh, that's giving you the answer to the puzzle. So it's really hard to put a game like this because it isn't a fleshed out game. Like there isn't a million types of content and there's replayability. There are secret things that you can find in the game. Right. It's definitely worth going back through and replaying. But there isn't a ton of secrets in the game or a ton of story in the game. So I don't want to dive into that too much.
Yeah. And I mean, ultimately, when you talk about what genre it falls under, I mean, it's really just like a puzzle game, right?
Yeah.
It's
I would say it's a platform puzzle adventure game.
Exactly. And we really kind of touched on the mechanics of how you play the game. We've touched on how the storytelling is, and truly the setting is pretty ambiguous because sometimes you're just a pony running through.
Yeah, dude, it's so
sometimes funny. You're in this weird like 1 and 0s space where you're like.
Tell you what though, the music is good.
It's pretty awesome.
The music is so fun. Like you have these intense moments and the music just ramps up. You're like, yeah! Right. It's super good. So the game just hits all these right spots where things change. Like you say, it's like you're in the 1s and 0s zone where you're like hacking the programming of the game and unlocking cheat codes where the creator's like, no, you're cheating, no.
Or finding tickets.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah. I mean, it's just one of those situations. I think we learned pretty well from Inscryption with Daniel Mullins games in particular that when we approach it the right way so that we incentivize the people to play it. And then talk to us about it.
We definitely want you to play it and let us know if you found out anything crazy that you're like, did you guys know this? Because there's theories out there, sure. I mean, the game's been out since, I think, 2016.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's 5 years, 6 years almost now at this point. There's tons of theories out there. We just played it for the first time ever. I'll probably play it again.
Right.
Just, I want to see what happens if I find all these tickets.
Yeah, you got
pretty... I want to experience more of it.
Yeah, you got pretty good expanse on, like, some of the story. But I don't think you unlocked all of it, right?
No, there's still things I have no idea.
And it's not like a super long game.
No, it's. I think I did it in 2.5 hours.
Right. So again, if we need to incentivize you guys any further, it's super short. It's not crazy long. It's a super awesome story, albeit some of the puzzles are a little tough. There was a couple that I
will say this. Some of the puzzles were hard, and you said you did them accidentally.
Yeah.
There was one aspect of this game that I didn't like, and because other than that, the game is fine. I was kind of tired, and I'm like, I need to play this game. I want to play it. I knew it wasn't long, so I sat down. I had a slight headache. There was a lot that happens on this game, and it's minimal mouse movement, like you just clicking the 2 buttons. Minimal, you're actually typing things sometimes. But there's a lot of stuff happening on the screen, and it's all in kind of like that old school, like retro 3D glasses.
Oh yeah, like, so it can hurt your eyes a little
sometimes
bit.
You'll see font, and the font is in both red and blue stacked on top of each other. And on dark screens, I don't know if you've ever noticed this. I used to be like, oh, 3D. I open like MS Paint, make the background black, and just paint using blue and red. And it would cause it to like have this 3D effect.
Oh, that's crazy.
And that's kind of how it feels, and especially on dark backgrounds. By the time I finished the game, I loved the game. I had a crazy headache.
Oh,
it was just so bad. And I'm like, man, that was so good. So warning on that. If visuals or something like that can overwhelm you, you definitely don't play it when you're tired, and you may want to just look into the game first. That's the only thing that I really didn't like. Because even dying over and over again was super fun. Yeah. You're like,
yeah, I'll say this, I guess. It's not even like a bad thing, but I'm not a super genius. I'm not a mega smart guy. So it was like that meme, like the woman is like, but the equations are going everywhere. So a couple of those puzzles that popped up, and my literal immediate reaction was, oh no. Just like it just dread overcame me.
I mean,
but it doesn't take that long.
No,
I mean,
it
you
doesn't.
figure things out pretty quickly.
And if you can actually kind of read what it's saying.
Well, I was talking about the later, because like it changes a little bit. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
You know
the
what
later
I'm
ones
talking
are
about.
annoying.
So
they were actually harder than the ones that you would think are hard.
Yeah, they're more difficult. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They take a very simple thing like coding or whatever, and then they twist it and contort it in a way where
it builds on what it's already taught you, and that's really cool too.
And that's something that Daniel Mullins does, and what we've experienced so far in every game is they teach you a baseline and they expand on it, and then they expand on it again, and then they go back. In some ways, they like almost do a callback to the beginning of the game, and like calling on itself is like, we taught you this already. You know what to do. Just do it. So. And
for side note, just real quick, and then I guess we can wrap this up. We didn't have a pony, so I grabbed the sheep and underwear.
Yeah, Daniel Mullins.
Because Catherine was a game about like limbo and stuff. You should play it. It's a puzzle game. You'd probably enjoy it.
Sure. I mean,
you might not. You might hate the game, but it's pretty good. The story's really good.
I mean, I've played some games that I don't necessarily love so far. So what's another one? But I will say,
what's another game?
Daniel Mullins. If you guys are listening, we would love a pony.
That would be amazing.
We'd love a freaking pony to have here. That'd
Can
be so
that
cool.
happen?
I don't know if they have plushies or anything like that, but
can we get two?
Dude, I would love a Leshy plushie.
Oh, that'd be me too.
Dude, all sorts of good ideas for you guys.
Daniel Mullins Games, hopefully you're seeing this. It'd be super cool. We would love it, but you don't have to do it. Yeah. But we're loving your games. We really are. They're so great.
Can't wait for the next one, seriously. We're definitely going to play the Hex if we wrap this up. Like, for sure going to play the Hex.
Oh, yeah, the Hex is on the radar. I don't know the time frame. It may be longer. I think it's also kind of different.
Super. We looked at it a little bit. Definitely
looks different.
Super worth it though. I mean, you guys make immaculate games. If you guys haven't played them, people watching, definitely check out Daniel Mullins, dude. We'll throw a link in the below comments.
Yep, that's down there.
Yeah, so you guys can check that out. They're on Steam, obviously. Dude, I wouldn't even doubt seeing their games on like the Switch eventually and stuff like that. As an indie dev.
Yeah, I don't know why not.
All that stuff, but
especially something like Inscryption.
Yeah. I would definitely say you guys got to check out. If you got the time to do it, dip into Inscryption if you haven't played it. But if you got smaller chunks of time, definitely check out Pony Island because it's really cool.
Cool. Sounds good.
How many? What's the rating? What do you give them?
On this game?
How many tails do you give it?
Miles? I'm going to give it, out of 10, I'm going to give this game, I think, a solid 8.
8?
Yeah.
Okay.
Only because, like, visually it was a little rough. Everything else was super fun.
I think I'd give it like a 7-8 as well. I think 8's pretty fair. I just maybe visually, right? And that's a good thing to point out.
Not that the game looked bad, but all the chaos.
No, it just can be. Maybe the only thing I'd like to see is like maybe it be a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was super short, sweet. It was hot, so it
was nice to be able to just sit down and play a game and be done with it.
Right.
And that's what makes it nice.
Yeah, and we're 2022. Time is the most essential thing in the world. But super excellent game. I give it 8 tails.
There you go, 8 tails. 8 and 8. That's 16 out of 20. That's pretty good.
That is pretty hot.
Pretty good job.
Well, Doc, where can they find you, buddy?
You can find me on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram.
YouTube.
I said that.
Oh.
At RX_Bishop_MD. Probably everywhere using that. Yeah. What about you? You
guys can find me at NevrEndingPants without the second E in never. Twitch, Instagram, Facebook. Still working on YouTube. Getting there.
Stop saying that. Just say it. Just say it.
Well, it's not there yet.
Make them think it is.
Well, but
and when they can't find it, make them feel like they're missing something.
Well, they're gonna keep checking. I'm gonna say it for the next 100 episodes. Oh my God. Thank you guys for tuning in. And Doc, you gotta hit them, baby. What's the best piece of advice?
Best piece of advice we could give. If you're not good,
get good.
Boom, baby.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you again next video.
Bye.
Say bye.